What's up my fellow dragons, Scootch here, and welcome back to another video. This isn't going to be a normal kind of video of mine, because today I wanted to talk about Ludum 44, which is a game jam that just happened over this past weekend at the time of recording this. If you don't know what a game jam is, it's basically like an event where you have to make a game within like 48 or 72 hours, a short time period. So I've been learning game development, I've been working a bit inside Game Maker 2, following tutorials and stuff. And I wanted to test my skill. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to enter into Ludum 44. I didn't expect how busy I would be over this weekend, but I was able to get something out. So Friday night was when the event started in my time zone at 9 p.m. And at the time I was watching Avengers Endgame. So obviously I couldn't do it when the event started, and I got back around like 11 o'clock, so I decided I'm just gonna go to bed and program in the morning. I can't program at 11 o'clock. By the way, the theme was your life is currency, which is a really annoying and hard theme, and everybody was complaining about it, but I don't get it because we voted on the theme, so obviously some people picked it. But anyway, Saturday morning comes, I program for a bit. I had an idea in my head where I'm gonna make a platformer where you have to kill a certain amount of enemies and then you win. But the trick is that your health or your life will be determined by two sliders. One will be power and one will be your life. And the more health you have, the less power you'll have. And the less health you have, the more power you'll have. I think I said that right. So then, basically you're trading your life for power. And then obviously you go and kill all the enemies. So Saturday morning, I start programming the character. I get like the basic collision stuff and my inputs for keyboard and Xbox controller. Then I had to go to church to drop something off because the next morning on Sunday I was supposed to give a speech and I still hadn't fully prepared for that. So I come home, I work on my game for a little bit longer, and then I had to go to haircuts. So that took a big chunk out of my day too, because it's kind of far. So then when I got back, I realized, oh, me and my family were supposed to go to dinner somewhere, and I'm supposed to get the speech ready and program this game, so I was kind of overwhelmed. So we went to our friend's house to eat dinner, and I spent the majority of the time working on my game and getting note cards and stuff ready for my speech. So I didn't get too much done. I added like one enemy that didn't work very well yet, and got all the mechanics, well, some of the mechanics down. And at this point I was trying to do melee combat mechanics, which I've never done melee combat before, because like I said, I don't have too much experience yet. So here's a pro tip. Don't try to do something in a Ludum Dare or any game jam that you haven't done before. I mean, obviously you're going to do something you haven't done before based on the theme, but something that you're not confident that you can do, or you're not confident that it'll be simple. Like, adding melee combat was a little more involved and hard than I thought, because I had to make sprites and then the hitboxes and all this stuff, and I wasn't confident in it and wasn't comfortable and didn't know how it all worked. So I got all the basic stuff down on Saturday night, along with getting my speech and everything done. And I didn't set up the health and the power bars yet at the beginning of the game, so it was all kind of a mess, and I was kind of getting scared I wasn't going to get far in this event. So Sunday morning comes around, I get ready, I immediately leave for church, I give the speeches, I go to lunch, and then I get home around like 2:30. So I lost a lot of time. At this point, I had until Monday night. So my time was already halfway done and I'd barely gotten anything. So then I programmed my game for a little bit longer that day, and then I had to leave somewhere that evening. I was supposed to go meet friends, so I went and met them and hung out with them. So Sunday night I got back. I think I programmed for a bit longer Sunday night, and then went to bed, and Monday morning I decide, you know what? The entire day I'm going to spend programming this game and getting it into a workable state. I'm determined to get this done. At this point, I had decided to scrap the melee combat. I'd added the two meters in that determined your health and power. I don't think I had actually gotten them to work yet, but I got the sliders and everything working. So then Monday morning, I make the tile sprite, I add that to the game, I add the background sprites, I made that look pretty nice, I implemented the health, the power, I made the one enemy I had in the game, which was a snail, just because it was the first thing I thought of. I had his AI working pretty well, so then I finished him up, I got it so I could damage him correctly, and I decided, instead of the melee combat, to make it simpler and make a Mario style kind of thing where you jump on the enemy's heads, and depending on your power, you'll do more damage and eventually kill them. I spent most of the time, I don't know about most of the time, but a lot of the time implementing that and getting that feeling good and stuff like that, because mechanics take a while. So I had the one enemy, I got him to flash, I got him to die, I got him to look squished. At this point, it was probably Sunday afternoon. Or no, Monday afternoon, I mean. And I still didn't have any more enemies or anything else. The level design, I didn't have any levels really. I just had the test level where I could just test if everything was working. I got it to draw your health number and your life up on the top left of the screen, which sounds simple, but I wasn't really used to drawing stuff in yet. So I got all that working. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I gotta make more enemies. You know, I gotta make a more interesting level, I gotta make a windscreen, I gotta add sound effects, and I did this all within the last few hours, which is why a lot of the enemy sprites look kinda ugly. I implemented all the sound effects within like the last hour. Like seriously, within the 12 hours of that day, I went from like 9:30 in the morning to 9 at night. I finished like on the dot at 9. But anyway, I worked so hard in there, basically doing it non-stop. The last couple hours you could see like a flame aura around me as I'm like mashing the keyboard, getting everything working and drawing sprites and adding sound effects and all this stuff. Then it's 3 minutes before the jam ends and you have to stop. So I just finished making my menu look nicer and adding a couple sprites to show your strength and your health, and I was programming up here in my room, and I go downstairs. For some reason the whole day, with the jumping on enemies mechanics, I couldn't figure out why, but when you jump on someone, sometimes you would get hurt, and it made the game feel unfair. It didn't happen super often, but it was enough to be annoying and could mess up your playthrough. So I go downstairs, there's 3 minutes left. I was like, ugh. Like, I worked so hard within the last few hours. And then I realized, I know what the problem is to fix jumping on enemies. I run back up the stairs, I fixed it really fast. Thankfully, it was a really simple fix. And finished, like, on the dot of 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was cutting that close. But it made the game feel that much better. So, in the end, I was able to get one level, a few different kinds of enemies, and a windscreen that you can interact with, and able to post it in time to get graded for the jam. So this was a really fun experience. I'm looking forward to doing more game jams in the future. I learned a lot during this jam, even though I did most of it in the last 12 hours. Also, if you're new to the channel and you found me because of this video and game development stuff, subscribe to me even though most of my videos are gameplay, because I plan on making more game development videos on other game jams that I'm going to be doing, and just personal projects. I've got some ideas. So yeah, subscribe for that. I'm also going to be playing some Ludum Dare games soon on the channel from this Ludum Dare, so you guys can see what other people have come up with. I'll have a link to the game down in the description. It's free, so you guys can just try it out. I almost forgot to mention that the game is called Power Stomper, because I had to think of a name last minute, and you're jumping on enemies and you're trading your health for power, so I'm like, Power Stomper. Good. So yeah, that's basically it. Hope you all enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more awesome gaming content, and I will see you all later.